Every day, an estimated 70,000 people die without ever hearing about Jesus. While people may like to believe otherwise, John 3:18 states very clearly, "Whoever does not believe stands condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of God's one and only Son." How are we to respond to this truth? Today, I want to talk to you about the assignment Jesus gave us, his followers, as he was preparing to return to the Father. That assignment, the Great Commission of Matthew 28:19-20, is to disciple all nations, teaching them to obey everything Jesus commands. First, I want you to know why this topic is important to me. My great-grandparents served as missionaries in China, and since long before I was born, my parents have invested their lives in working with others to complete the Great Commission. I also spent the first half of my life in a community of families who were working together to stir cross-body to fulfill the Great Commission. Because of these influences, I share my parents' and great-grandparents' commitment. This commission is also important to every believer because from the time we choose to follow Christ, his commission is the foundation for our life assignment. This commission is central to God's plan to bless all nations, and it is the only task Jesus gave us to do here on earth that we can't do in heaven. So what does the Bible tell us about God's plan? How does this commission permeate and shape the whole Bible? What kind of progress are we making today, and what is left to be done? And how can each of us participate most effectively? Let's explore these questions, starting off where God commissioned Abraham to go. The first 11 chapters of the Bible detail man's separation from God. Then in Genesis 12, God commissions Abraham to go, and then introduces his twofold promise to bless Abraham and his descendants, and through them to bless all the families on the earth. Did you get that last part? God's amazing promise to Abraham is that through his obedience and going, all the families on the earth will be blessed. God is making his name known. We can participate or not. God will be glorified either way, but we are better off if we participate willingly. In Daniel 12:3, we read, "Those who turn many to righteousness will shine like the stars forever and ever." This is an incredible promise to look forward to in eternity. The Holy Spirit had unlimited material to draw from and inspire the authors of the Bible, but his constraining principle seems to have been to demonstrate how God was using Israel to reveal his glory to the surrounding nations. 5,000 verses running through every book in the Bible reflect God's concern for his people to bless all peoples. When Jesus gave us the Great Commission, he wasn't introducing something new. He was clarifying our role in the fulfillment of his promise to Abraham to bless all nations. So once we understand that God's plan involves blessing all nations through his blessed people, it is natural to wonder how we are doing. Let's look first at what Jesus said about how the timing of his return relates to the fulfillment of this promise. In Matthew 24:3, his followers asked him, "What will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" In verse 14, Jesus answers this question. "And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come." The nations Jesus refers to here, and in the Great Commission itself, are not the political countries we normally think of as nations. The Greek word often translated as nations in the New Testament is ethne, from which we also get our English word ethnic. Even though ethne is usually translated as nations, the core meaning is closer to the extended family groups, which God promised Abraham he would bless. This first map shows the political country of Nigeria. The second map details the ethnic, or the biblical nations, which missionaries today refer to as people groups. As you can see, there are many people groups just in Nigeria. These people groups are distinguished by ancestry, history, customs, and language. People groups are referred to as Indians when they don't have a church movement among them. Different researchers count people groups in different ways, but one approach to counting them estimates roughly 24,000 people groups total. 12,000 of these people groups were unreached 30 years ago. Notice that today, there are only about 8,000 people groups left to be reached. And this is exciting because the rate at which these people groups are being reached is increasing rapidly. The red on this map shows the area of greatest need. where unreached people groups are most concentrated, with the fewest missionaries and often the toughest living conditions. This rectangle has been dubbed the 1040 window because most of the red falls in the indicated rectangle, between 10 degrees and 40 degrees in latitude, from the western edge of Africa to the eastern edge of Indonesia. This is where most of the Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists live, among people where missionaries are generally not welcome, and those who believe are most likely to be persecuted for their faith. Now let's look at how Christ is fulfilling his promise to build his church. 3,000 people chose to follow Christ on the day of Pentecost, and since then, after Christians have grown faster than the global population. Today around the world, 3,000 people decide to follow Christ every 40 minutes, resulting in more than 47,000 new believers each day. From this chart, we can see the growth of Christ's body through the ratio of non-Christians to active Christians. 100 years after Christ, every active Christian would have had to evangelize 360 others with no overlap to bear witness to the entire world. Today, every Bible-reading Christian only has to evangelize 7 different non-Christians. From this chart, we see that in the year 100 AD, there is only one church for every 12 people groups needing a missionary. Today, congregations of Bible-reading Christians outnumber unreached people groups 1,000 to 1. That means that for every group needing a missionary, there are 1,000 congregations capable of collaborating to reach them. We can finish this task. With our commission clear and great progress unfolding, what can we do to help finish this task? Here are 4 practical steps toward increasing effectiveness and obeying Jesus' command to disciple all nations. Learn eagerly what needs to be done, what is already working, and how you and your church can participate most effectively. The course Perspectives on the World Christian Movement is one of the best ways to learn these things. I have had the privilege of sitting in on this class several times when my dad was leading it. Pray both for existing efforts and for unreached people groups where no work yet exists. The Global Prayer Digest and Joshua Project List are excellent resources to guide your prayers. Go with others to extend God's blessing among unreached people groups, and send missionaries by praying for them, assisting them, and providing financial support for their work. To learn how you can get involved in any of these ways, contact the U.S. Center for World Mission, which introduced and developed the concept of unreached people groups. This is the community I grew up in, and is a good way to learn about mission agencies who are working among unreached people groups. Whatever roles God leads you to play in reaching the unreached, the essential foundation is growing in our own relationship with God. As we read His Word, talk with Him, listen to Him, and obey. He will involve us in discipling the remaining unreached nations. Let me close with this quote from Hudson Taylor, the first Protestant missionary to the interior of China, where my own great-grandparents served as missionaries. The Great Commission is not an option to be considered, it is a command to be obeyed.